Colossal Tussle Podcast, episode number 21. This podcast ain't big enough for the both of us. It is I, Rowdy Roddy Johnson, alongside, as always, Hollywood Just John. How's it going, big man?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I was taken down. I was taken down by the vitamin C.
The old COVID got a hold of you, buddy.
It did. It finally took me down. It was pleasant to be alone in my room.
It was funny because you did brag a little bit about how you could never catch it.
Couldn't do it. 2 years strong. Having COVID positive people coughing in my mouth and everything. Couldn't get it done.
But it finally took you down.
In the end, taken down. But besides that, life has been decent. Life has been good, and we are right back on track. Episode number 21. We're talking Souled Out 97. nWo's one and only pay-per-view. And we are going to dig deep and figure out why. We're going to get to the bones of the issue.
Why it was the only one.
Yes. Why was it the only one? Why was it a commercial failure? Why was it a critical failure? What went wrong? And when did it happen, John? Were you excited going into the Souled Out pay-per-view? Because we're coming off of Starrcade 96. Starrcade 96 was quite pleasant, quite decent to be a part of.
Yeah.
Were you excited for Souled Out?
I was and I wasn't. I was just because I remember playing Souled Out on the 64.
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of finally see, you know, the pay-per-view that inspired the game.
Yeah.
But from a storyline point of view, wasn't that interested in it because, you know, we kind of take a break from the Piper Hogan feud and, you know, just everything leading up to it just wasn't as great as the Starrcade show that we reviewed. But yeah, it was still kind of interested in seeing what was going to go down.
Absolutely, yeah, because this was being built solely on the back of nWo, specifically Hollywood Hogan defending the title against a newly fresh meat babyface, the Giant.
Yeah, because when we reviewed World War III, I even said, you know, that was kind of a weird idea to have the Giant win the Rumble to become the number one contender because he's part of the nWo. Yes. But, you know, we forgot that it is the Giant. So he kind of...
Yeah. This would be turn number 3, I believe, in total so far. Yeah, a lot of stuff happening, okay? So we have to do some admin. Yeah. All right? We have to do some admin. We have to talk about the TV ratings war. Yes. So this is what I'm going to do for you, John. We're going to do something a little new here on the podcast.
Okay.
We're going to do something new. I am going to give you, because this is WCW's most successful year, one would argue.
Okay? Starting with this pay-per-view.
Yeah. As a whole, 1997 is going to be a banner year for World Championship Wrestling. Okay. Especially with Monday Nitro and the ratings war. We are deep in the 83 weeks undefeated is Nitro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the overall ratings for both shows, and I'm going to give you the main events of both shows. Okay. And you, as a listener, are going to tell me which one you would rather have seen throughout the month of January.
All right, that's dope. All right, let's do it. That sounds fun.
Yes, because the 1997 audience made their choice. But looking back on it, some 20-something years later,
I would
which one would you be tuning into?
But am I sorry, well, one more thing. Am I picking based on if I were in 1997 or with the knowledge I know now?
based on what you know now, what would you like to see? Here we go. So, Raw for January the 6th pulls in a 2.1 television rating. Nitro pulls in a 3.4.
Okay.
The main event for Raw, Bret Hart versus Vader.
Oh.
Or Lex Luger versus Ming.
All right, I'm gonna go Bret Hart Vader.
Okay.
That seems like the better option.
You were in the minority on that one. January the 13th, a 3.4 for Monday Nitro.
Okay.
A 2.3 for Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Main event of Raw, Taker versus Crush. Or the Giant versus Hogan in a title match, which ends in a DQ.
I'll still go Giant Hogan.
Okay.
I'll go Giant Hogan.
Fair enough.
1-1 so far.
Yeah.
1-1.
And finally, January the 20th. This would be our go home for Souled Out, so we will stop here.
Okay.
A 3.7 for Monday Nitro, the highest of the month. 2.2 for Raw is War. Very small. But here we go. The main event for Monday Nitro is another match featuring the Giant and Hogan trying to go for the title once again, ending in a no contest. It has been deemed, this is the name of the Giant nWo Angle is the main event. Or would you like to see Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker?
Oh, Stone Cold Undertaker, yeah. So they ran Hogan the Giant twice.
Yes.
Both times ending in a DQ. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, hey, main event for Souled Out. Hogan the Giant again.
Yes.
And it ends. Oh. I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys guess how that one ends. Oh, I didn't know that they ran that.
That's right. So it's already been run twice.
How did they fail?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Why was this pay-per-view so unsuccessful? We just simply don't know. Meanwhile, WCW had one more event, and that would be the Clash of Champions on January the 21st in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So that was before Souled Out.
Yes, that is right. With 6,800 fans packing them in. All right, $88,000, 466 at the gate. 38,000 approximate in merchandise sales. However, there's not really much to say. It was Lex Luger versus Scott Hall in the main event.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then there was Dean Malenko winning back the Cruiserweight title from Ultimo Dragon.
Wait, but isn't Clash of Champions like just all the champions?
No, well, in the beginning, it was supposed to be a thing where all titles were on the line, or like a mix of champion versus champion, perhaps. This is a special event. The beginning one, 1988, clashed head to head with WrestleMania 4. In which Sting and Ric Flair went to that 45-minute time limit draw, which gave Sting his, welcome, coming out party. In years since, it has kind of diluted itself, and we're in the closing stages. This would be the second last Clash of Champions.
Okay.
We will be reviewing the last Clash of Champions at some point in the future.
Okay.
So Dean Malenko wins back the Cruiserweight title, and Chris Benoit beats Kevin Sullivan in a Falls Count Anywhere, in which ended up in the bathroom.
Wait, so Clash of Champions only had one title match?
Well, that's that's just the highlights. I don't know. I don't know if there were any more, titles on the line. I was just looking at what was significant to the show. I was
getting ready to send an angry tweet.
Yeah. But needless to say, also some highlights from Nitro. I thought I'd give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? Diamond Dallas Page officially drops Hall and Nash, considers himself firmly in the WCW camp, turns officially babyface in that big moment on Monday Nitro. The Giant beats...
Thank God, because I was honestly starting to get tired of DDP as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get into his heel character.
Yes. So it's going to be interesting in the next few episodes seeing just how well he does now that he's in babyface territory.
Yeah, and the beauty, well, you guys are going to see from our reviews, the amazing thing about DDP's babyface run is that he gets over so fucking quick.
Yes.
I think in the next one that we're going to review, he's already
firm baby
they fucking love him.
Yeah, he's already very over. This was exactly what you needed. I'm assuming he was getting some cheers and stuff, as a heel. I think we heard a few of them, but the character itself was so lame and so muddled that it just wasn't working.
He tried to put all the heel stereotypes into one guy, and it just wasn't working.
Wasn't doing too well. The aforementioned Giant beating Hogan by DQ for the belt, etc., etc. On January the 20th, so the Go Home Nitro, Macho Man returns, has himself a sit-in where he disrupts the first match of the evening, tells them to get to stepping. Babyfaces are trying to reason with him to get out of the ring. Macho Man beating up everybody in sight. He says he is not leaving until he sees Eric Bischoff, until he sees the NWO, and all of that jazz.
Okay.
From the crowd comes Sting, and Macho Man and Sting walk off together. Ooh, intrigue!
So how do you feel about that angle? Because you've been skeptical of the whole Sting.
Yes.
So how did that? You watching that? How did you react?
The angle itself is freaking fantastic.
Okay.
It is all on the back of Randy Savage just being an absolute killer and a badass. Wonderful stuff. The idea of him walking away with Sting is it's the first time that I was like, okay, I think what Sting's motivation is he's trying to build himself an army, and he's picking somebody that should obviously be against the NWO. Should obviously not be with Hogan, Hall, Nash, anybody to do with the New World Order.
Then why would he leave with Sting?
Right. Listen,
baby.
Listen. He tried to recruit Lex Luger. Lex Luger is still a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Okay, but Macho Man should be the guy. I was like, he will definitely not turn. He will be firm in the WCW camp.
So basically Sting, Savage, Luger, the Giant, and Diamond Dallas Page?
Maybe. Maybe.
You guys gotta stay in and find out.
Throw in a Roddy Piper in there.
Oh, yeah.
And see what happens. That's a pretty good crew. So long as nothing happens.
I doubt anything's going to happen.
I doubt it. But be that as it may, this has all led to WCW Souled Out. 25th, 1997, John. Sold Out. The nWo Sold Out pay-per-view.
We are here. We've made it.
We are here. One thing, this is a Saturday show. This is not on a Sunday. Yeah. So this was to get away from the Royal Rumble so that they weren't slaughtered in the pay-per-view buys.
Okay.
Yeah, This was one of their many attempts to try and stand out and get away from the WWF onslaught.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I can you hear that, John? Can you hear that? That is the new Numbers theme song. Yeah!
You finally got it. You finally got your keys.
Indeed. And it is all about the numbers. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yes.
All right? We have 5,120 people in the building. So it is a sellout. The live gate gave us $68,209, along with the merchandise making approximately $38,000 once again. However, the buy rate. Yeah. The buys are 120,000 buys. 1.3 million is what that loosely translates to. And unfortunately, it is the lowest buy rate of the year.
Yeah, because even though you moved to Saturday, that's still 2 pay-per-views on one weekend. There's not a lot of people that are going to...
No.
This is back in the old days before you can just stream one, pay for the other.
Yeah.
That's
simply not going to beat the Rumble.
Nah.
In the choice,
it's a big 4 pay-per-view.
Yeah, choice between the two, it was a no-brainer.
And that's I feel what saved WWE for so many years is that it doesn't matter what you throw at them, they have those big 4 pay-per-views.
They do. Yeah, they've got an established cycle that you can always count on and depend on. You have and they started off hot with the Rumble and WrestleMania in within a 3-month period. I mean, you can't do much better than that.
Yeah. And if I have $60, I'm picking
throw it down.
Royal Rumble over the very first nWo pay-per-view.
Yes. Now, I listened to the 83 Weeks podcast with Eric Bischoff, specifically about nWo Sold Out, and he was saying that this was kind of like a means to an end. It was a brand new pay-per-view concept, so he was looking for the building blocks because the nWo was a very hot commodity at the time. I think back at Halloween Havoc, I think we discussed the fact that it was a $68,000 in merchandise sales, but overall it was 30-something thousand in just nWo sales.
Yeah.
So the nWo was a hot property, and rightfully so. The ratings are there. Everything was still on the up and up, 3.7, 3.4 in that 3 range, which was extraordinarily good for the time period and one of the highest in quite some time. So I can understand why he was like, this was a means to an end to get the nWo on pay-per-view, to see how it goes, to see how it lands. This is a guinea pig show. And so he was throwing a lot of shit at the wall.
Yeah.
So let us dissect this and let us see just what we were dealing with, because we open up.
Because, one thing before we even start the pay-per-view, I feel like this, though the entire thing, the staging, the intro, everything sounded amazing on paper. Because I was looking at this whole thing, the entire time I was looking at the pay-per-view, I'm like, you know what? This probably sounded amazing on paper.
Yes.
I just feel like the execution wasn't there, and we see it right from the jump.
Yeah. I mean, in the boardroom, this must have looked great. The concept, the designs, the music, it all looked great on the board.
Yeah, because I was watching and I'm like, hey, this isn't a bad idea. The execution wasn't great, but if someone were to hand me a booklet with all this written down, I'll be like, you know what? This is a decent idea. So
let me ask you if this is a decent idea. Let me ask you: the nWo arrive on garbage trucks.
Not even. I think those are like the recycling garbage.
Yeah.
Not even like the real garbage.
Not even
trucks.
real shit. This is recycling garbage trucks, an ambulance and police escort, where the sirens are so loud that you can barely hear them.
You can't hear a thing.
All you can hear is periodically Eric Bischoff going, "Is this sweet or what?" They make it into the building.
But listen, replace garbage trucks with monster trucks.
Uh-huh.
We might have been,
we might have had something. Yeah, we might have had something.
You know, turn down the volume of the sirens a little bit.
Yeah, so they arrive on the streets very slowly in garbage trucks, barely audible. They get to the building. Hogan is the only person in a limousine, and he's escorted by the Dallas Cowboys. So members of the Dallas Cowboys are there.
Yeah, they just finished winning a championship last year, so you know this was kind of like a little like,
fresh off, fresh off a victory. Yeah. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, so then we cut to the arena, and we have some really shitty pyro.
Yeah,
and then we've got the Outsiders and Hogan, the big three. Mm-hmm. On the screens.
I couldn't hear what the fuck they were saying.
Yeah, there was, you couldn't hear anything. It was like, it's our own paper. It's a go down. The New World Order.
Because I was expecting it to like go full screen, like to show us, and it just never did. It was just like the camera, and I was like, okay.
And it does that for about 50 seconds. You can only hear about 15 seconds worth of audio.
Yeah.
And then here come our commentary team for the evening.
No, because hold on. Because before they even, when they pull up to the arena, I'm not sure if there was like a malfunction in the truck or something.
Yes, there probably was.
They played a clip, I think that was supposed to be part of that package that they were showing on the screen, of Eric Bischoff on like a podium.
Yes.
But then it just cuts like quickly. And then Eric Bischoff comes out while the promo's still playing, and he stands on this little podium that's on top of the stage, because the stage has like these stairs going upwards, and he stands there, and I couldn't hear what he was saying, and then he goes down to commentary. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So what I think was supposed to happen was that the intro plays, and we have the intro. That's going to be our opening for the television, for the show here today. And I think what was supposed to happen was the intro was supposed to cut, and then Eric was supposed to be at the podium already.
Fade in into him. Okay.
He's supposed to be like, "Welcome to nWo Souled Out."
Oh, you just see him do like a little weak walk to the podium.
And the microphone's not on, so we abandon ship. We come down the steps. He's wearing the raincoat.
Yeah.
And he has Elizabeth, who once again has like popped out of the background. Because again, she fucking blended in again.
If you guys who are on Twitter, let us know. Yeah. Because I watched the clip like 2-3 times. Mm-hmm. I have no idea where Elizabeth came from.
Nowhere.
I was looking at the entire
appeared out of thin air.
She just popped out, and I'm like, where the fuck did Elizabeth come?
And evaporated into the background, because I didn't even see that bitch in the back. I didn't even see her.
You see all
pull up with everyone.
That's another thing about the set. There's a whole bunch of bikers all around.
Yeah.
So she's not even part of the bikers. She just pops out like fucking Aleister Black.
She just materializes and then evaporates away after she gives Eric his leather jacket. So he's ready to go on commentary, and it is going to be Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase on commentary.
Yeah.
I sincerely missed Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, they're the commentary team for the entire show. Nick Patrick is the
only referee.
Yeah. Only referee for the entire show. Mm-hmm. The rings surrounded by bikers.
All the contestants of the Miss nWo pageant.
Yep.
Yes.
I think the whole thing was each of them had to have their own motorcycle. So,
absolutely. Yeah, they're all biker chicks.
Listen, it sound like, again, if you present me this on paper, it sounds all right. But we're gonna get into it. Let's just
from Jump Street. This looks terrible. We have 2 heel commentators. We have
they also have a band.
Yes, they have the NWO
supposed to
band.
play the entrance of the wrestlers. I did not see them play no entrance.
No,
at all.
No. They were there.
I thought I just missed something.
No. At one point, and I have it written down for later on, that they get up to pretend to play, but they've already played the regular music over the sound system, so the guy just sits back down.
Yeah, because when I saw the band, I was like, "See, this is another idea. That sounds great." And then, the first guy comes out, and I'm like, "That's a recording.
Yes,
they're not playing that live."
No.
And then, you look to the corner, and they're just kind of just sitting there with the guitars. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Because there's not even an intermission. It's a pay-per-view. It's a live pay-per-view. Yeah. So it's not like intermission where the band plays to keep everyone entertained. Jesus Christ. Match number 1.
Yes.
Let's get into this.
Finally.
Honestly, we have Chris Jericho taking on Masa, our hero, Chono.
Yes. And because they're doing this whole thing where only nWo members get their theme song.
Yes.
All non-nWo members, so Chris Jericho has to walk out with no music, which I thought was a little cool idea.
And he also gets criticized by the ghost voice in the background.
Oh my, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so for those who haven't watched the pay-per-view, even though they don't have music, there's a guy on that has a microphone that's just insulting them as they come in.
That's right.
With little 80s dad jokes.
And throughout the show.
Yeah.
It periodically cutting into matches to just go, loser.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho, when he comes out, the announcer says, should have stayed in hockey. Chris Jericho. Yes, Masa Chono. nWo has gone international by going into New Japan and picking up one of the top wrestlers from the 1990s, Masahiro Chono.
Well, I guess what I've heard about that is that because the idea originated in Japan, because the nWo thing was like a Japanese stable over there, so I guess they wanted to get one of them to be like, hey, we're all cool here, right?
Yeah. Well, what was interesting was that as nWo Japan began to really take form later on in this year and into 98, apparently Eric Bischoff wanted to decide who and who could not be in nWo Japan.
Ooh, Japan does not like that.
No.
Imagine some white boy going up to New Japan telling them what to... Oh, Lord.
Yeah, as if it has any impact on WCW in America. It has no impact at all.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, apparently Eric Bischoff still wanted to decide who and who could not be in New Japan's faction.
And that's why every day I'm always like, how did this company fail?
Masa Chono with a kick to the gut early on and throws out Chris Jericho. WCW stars begin to arrive, such as Harlem Heat, the Faces of Fear, the Nasty Boys, Arn Anderson, and for some reason, Randy Anderson.
For like a second, I thought Arn Anderson was just like a regular. I'm like, why are they pointing at this regular person? Oh wait, that's Arn Anderson.
That's big old Arnold. That's Arnold. A test of strength, which is won by Masahiro Chono. A Russian leg sweep as well as a top rope shoulder tackle. A leg whip by Chono. Dusty is not around here to make jokes of the whip. You know, Bobby isn't here.
I just remember that.
None of these guys are here to make jokes and flip out at the sight of leg whip.
And I don't think Ted and Eric even know what any of these moves are called.
No. At one point, Ted DiBiase asks what an STF stands for.
Oh, yeah.
And Eric Bischoff says it stands for motor oil.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. Chono gets out a table, and Ted asks if it's dinner, and then says no sushi. And that's just the beginning.
This is match 1.
That's just the beginning of the dodgy racism that we are going to encounter.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna get
television
there.
program.
We're gonna get there.
Oh my God. Chris Jericho goes up to the top rope. Both men are battling up there. Masachono gets pushed off, but eventually manages to push Jericho off the top rope and through the table on the outside. Back inside the ring, Chris Jericho gets hit with the Mafia boot for a quick victory for Masahiro Chono. So we've had a lot of opening matches that we have gotten to discover, both in WWF and in WCW. WCW has never failed with their cruiserweight action. How did you feel about this opening match?
I didn't mind it that much. It was all right for an opener. I guess it wasn't up to what we've seen so far from WCW, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was a fun match.
All right,
it was a fun match.
I'm glad that you feel that way.
I enjoyed it.
Yes. Now we're going to take a bit of a nosedive because it's time for the first segment of the Miss NWO pageant, which Eric Bischoff says the Cedar Rapids wing of the NWO pageant, as if this is going to be a worldwide phenomenon.
Listen, you said it. This was just the first in many sold out pay-per-views.
Yeah. So I have written down all of the questions and the answers.
And asking those questions is the Babe Magnet.
The Babe Magnet.
Yeah, the Babe Hunter. The Babe Master. Jeff Katz.
Jeff Katz. Do you know anything about Jeff Katz?
I've never heard of Jeff Katz.
I've never heard of him either. You never see him again. So
the awkwardest person I've ever fucking seen in front of a camera.
Question number 1. What does the term NWO going all the way mean to you? Answer. Fallacia.
Yeah. All right. Here's the thing. Jeff Katz is going, I think, asking 2 women at a time.
Yes.
So every segment he interviews 2 women, because I think there's like a total of like 10 fucking women on this thing. And when I tell you, these are some of the most they were just dead behind the eyes.
Yeah.
They were so uncomfortable to look at. Like they were just not there.
No.
He was asking them questions and they were just like frozen. Like,
well,
I'm not sure if it's stage fright or what the fuck.
Well, no. So here's the thing. So Eric Bischoff said he specifically wanted to go against the norm. That was what NWO was all about, was going against the norm, counterculture. So he said specifically he didn't want actresses. He didn't want supermodels. Yeah. He didn't want supermodels. He didn't want these fine-looking women, and he didn't want people. He wanted normal, average to below average working girls as the contestants for this pageant.
He hit it out the park.
That's what he said. The criteria checks all the boxes.
Yeah, just from the first girl that they interviewed, I'm like, are you sure we're in the right place?
Yeah. Following it up with question number 2, Kevin Nash is considered a big, big man. What would you do to tame this big man? Answer. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
That's it for round number 1 of Miss NWO. We'll check back in with them a little later.
I hope you're excited because we got like 6 more of these to
we got a lot of segments to go. Oh my God. Match number 2. It is Hugh Morris versus the single most protected man in the business.
Big Bubba, baby.
Big Bubba Rogers.
The man who I think we've seen lose like once since we started doing this.
Literally, we've seen him lose twice.
Yeah, and one of those times was by murder.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. One of them was by murder, and another one was a plot to advance the Rock.
Yeah.
So now we get to see 2 white men in a Mexican death match.
Mm-hmm.
This is because Conan had travel issues and couldn't make it.
And I thought for this match, like, because the way commentary was just so fucking bad, I thought they meant like, hey, this is going to be so physical, like a Mexican death match.
No.
Because I've never heard of a Mexican. No. They're not even close to Mexico. No. So I'm like, what?
No.
What is a and then the match starts off and it's just a normal fucking match. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a normal Texas death match.
Oh my
where
God.
You have to pin the opponent or it's a last man standing rules type deal, depending.
Super confusing.
Yes. Yeah, it was meant for Conan, but Conan had travel issues, so Hugh Morris replaces him because he's a part of the Dungeon of Doom.
Okay.
Wonderful. Bubba, in the beginning, tries to handcuff Hugh Morris, but ends up getting it himself and then clotheslined over the top rope. Mm-hmm. Much like in Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 15, the handcuffs immediately break. Jimmy Hart then kicks Bubba on the outside. Bubba then back into the ring and gets his biker's chain and ends up using that and nailing Hugh Morris right off the freaking face.
Yeah, and then starts whipping the hell out of Hugh Morris.
Absolutely.
With the chain.
Whipping the bejesus out of him. Morris is able to fight back and quickly gets a good old moonsault. That is the only compliment I will ever give Bill DeMont.
Only one he deserves.
Yes. Nick Patrick is then doing the 10 count after the no laughing matter is what that moonsault is called. And
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's what the moonsault is called. No laughing matter because he's Hugh Morris. Right? He's humorous. Yeah.
Oh my God. Nah, you're making that.
I swear to God.
Holy shit.
I am very surprised you never put that together.
Why would Oh my God, my world just fucking what's up and what's down? Holy shit.
So Nick Patrick, in the course of delivering the 10 count to Bubba, is fanning him and waving Bubba down and then starts slapping him in the face to try and get him back up. It ends up happening, and a low blow big time to Big Bubba. Both men go to the outside and up the rampway. Hugh Morris gets onto the steps and goes for a no laughing matter off the top of the steps, but ends up missing. Bubba gets right back up, walks down, commandeers one of the nWo contestants' bikes, revs up the engine, and runs over Hugh Morris.
I thought that whole spot was going to fail because he looked like he was having trouble at first. He did. But then once he let it go, I was like, oh shit, he's actually planning on running him over.
And a pure murder gets the job done. Big Bubba wins. So the NWO...
Not surprising at all.
Not at all. NWO are 2-0 against the WCW. And now, Miss NWO number 2. And I have the recordings for this special point in the competition.
Action at hand here. Rim shot. Let me ask you here. You know, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, he's got a lot of power in the movie industry. What would you do to be in one of his movies?
Whatever it takes.
Oh, I like you. Let's head on over to number 4.
No, that's what the first girl said. That was a duplicated answer.
Look at you. You are buoyant. Oh, my. You know,
buoyant.
It's been said that Zillionaire Ted, you know, he says everyone's got a price. I want to know what's yours, because I got like $1.50 on me.
You would walk away with a big bill.
Ooh. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say. Folks, we will be back with more of Miss NWO, The Search. Let's go back to more NWO action at Souled Out.
Now let's hear it, Captain Virgil. We need some rock and roll. We need some women dancing behind us. Let's check this out. This is too much.
Match number 3 bored me to motherfucking tears, Just John. Bored me to tears. I don't know what it is about Jeff Jarrett, but his matches bore me to no end.
Don't worry, buddy, because you are with a Jeff Jarrett fan.
Okay.
And I got this. You know.
In the interest of sharing the load.
I don't need an intro. That's fine. I do not want to share anything.
Just John, take us through.
All right. Jeff Jarrett, Mr. I know it's M Wall Street.
Yes.
The M stands for Michael Wall Street.
Yes. He soon turned to VK Wall Street.
Why?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I'm starting to regret this WCW. Nick Patrick's still the referee. Collar and elbow tie up. Jeff puts Mr. Wall Street in the corner. He's about to hit Wall Street, but Nick Patrick grabs his arm, tells him to back off. I'm
gonna cut in just as a second thing for you. You know what Virgil's name is in WCW?
Vince.
Yeah.
Don't.
You know why that is, sir? Coming to you.
Oh my God.
Which is interesting because back in the WWF days when he was named Virgil, it was to take a shot at Dusty. Because Dusty's real name is Virgil.
What the fuck was going on in the 90s?
A lot of pettiness.
A lot of cocaine.
Continue, sir.
Jeff lands a crossbody from the top rope. He goes for the pin, but Wall Street kicks out. He goes to complain to the ref, and Wall Street takes advantage of that to roll Jeff Jarrett up. But Jeff Jarrett kicks out. Jeff then chokes Wall Street on the ropes. He goes for the leg drops on the ropes, but Nick moves Wall Street out the way.
He sure does.
Listen, Nick Patrick at moments in this pay-per-view is genius.
Nick Patrick is a fucking highlight of this show.
He's amazing.
He's a highlight of this show, and I am not being ironic about it. He's genuinely one of the funniest bits of the show.
There's moments in this pay-per-view that kind of like get a bit boring, and he'll just do some random shit that just makes me like die of laughter.
And he's mean mugging the whole time. He's walking back and forth to the entranceway as well, because he goes backstage every time and walks back out.
Love Nick Patrick. On the outside, Wall Street drops Jeff on the steel barricades. He throws him over the barricades into the crowd as well. Wall Street puts Jeff in a chokehold, but then Jeff gets out of it, puts a chokehold on, but Nick Patrick makes him break the hold. Wall Street then puts Jeff in a really long chokehold.
Of course.
This one was, I haven't seen one this long since like we were reviewing like the 80s and shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
They got to fill for time, buddy.
Jeff finally hits a suplex. Jeff starts working the leg, dropping elbows on the leg, and then locking in the figure four. But then Nick Patrick
just pulls Wall Street out. Just pulls him right to the ropes.
Not like a little small pull to like break the hold. He drags him to the ropes.
I mean, Nick Patrick is pretty fucking strong.
Listen.
Who knew?
Steve, what was it? Steve McMichaels. Not calling him that. Steve McMichael then helps Jeff win by hitting Wall Street with a briefcase and then threatening Nick Patrick to also hit him if he doesn't count to three.
Absolutely.
And we finally get the first NWO loss as Jeff Jarrett wins by pinfall.
Of course. The one guy to get a victory is Jeff Jarrett.
Listen, man. And Mongo didn't want to help him, but
no.
Deborah. She
Deborah McMichael forced his hand.
We got to do the right thing.
We have to, yes.
That's the last of Deborah we'll see.
For tonight. For tonight, yes. But, listen, NWO and WCW get a bad rap for a lack of female attention. Okay? Not a lot of females in WCW. Not a lot of female wrestling. But we're getting it in fucking spades here with Miss NWO number 3.
Yep.
Women aplenty.
They sent their best man to do the job.
That's right.
The
Jeff
Babe
Katz.
Hunter.
Jeff Katz. And he starts out by saying, "What do you think of the ladies?" Dead silence. Not a soul. Question number 1. We're on to the seniors division. Is what they call it. What part of your anatomy would help you best win Miss NWO?
He's saying that to a senior.
And the senior responds with, "My feet."
Listen, it does it for some people. Some people, that's all they need.
I have said it time and time again. The worst part of anybody's body is a foot. I have never seen an attractive foot in my entire life, and I never will. I will die on that hill. Not one motherfucker in the universe has got good feet.
A big portion of our fans just left.
Ugh. Buff Bagwell has one of the better bodies in WCW. What piece of material would you use to buff his body?
And that's exactly how he's saying it, people. Yeah. This isn't for a fact.
And the answer is, how would I explain this? He says, "Never mind, darling, back to the ring."
The smartest decision he's made. Yeah, that was.
We will return as we go to match number 4, which is actually one with like the longest story at the moment. It's kind of like Ronnie Garvin and Greg Valentine at one time.
It is.
It's the American males imploding before our very eyes. Buff Bagwell taking on Scotty Riggs.
So if you remember a couple weeks ago, they broke up because when Eric was telling everyone that they either join NWO or they're against them, Buff was like, "Well, I'm going to join NWO." But Scotty was like, "Nah." So now they're in a little feud.
They're enemies. Yeah. They're enemies till the bitter end. So Scotty Riggs gets in and he blindsides Buff Bagwell to start. Kind of weird, but okay. Buff tries to wrestle, but gets put down by Riggs again and again and again. And this is when I started to notice the shoddy and shitty camera that they have positioned on both sides of the ring opposite the hard camera.
Yeah.
It's this little shitty handheld camera duct taped to a pole that they're just kind of wiggling into the ring.
And it wouldn't be so much of a problem, but the fact that every now and then you could just see it come into the shot, and it just throws everything off because you'll be watching the wrestling and then all of a sudden just be like, "What the fuck is that in the corner?" And it's just like this little stick.
Yeah.
Because you don't even notice the camera because it's just like a little small handheld camera. So you just see a stick and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And then they cut to the camera angle itself.
It's horrendous.
And it's the shoddiest looking camera.
It's the worst.
It's this dull looking, lo-fi, low resolution. It's like it's fucking pixels.
Yeah. And they're doing a terrible job of following the action. So every time I would cut to that camera, like you'll see like the mat, and then you'll see him like trying to like find the wrestlers. And it's like, what the fuck?
And they managed to get the camera like 4 inches from these guys' faces for some reason. Another innovation by the NWO. Yes, so that's when I started to really notice it. The action looks good,
and it's weird because once you notice it,
you can't unnotice it. You can't do it. A belly to belly by Scotty Riggs, and then Buff Bagwell is hip tossed over the top rope. Outside now, Buff is able to send Riggs into the rail. They have the nerve to call the camera angle cutting edge.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
And you'd think that because he's trillionaire Ted, that he can afford some better fucking cameras.
The cameras were expensive back then.
Jesus Christ. Riggs gets back into the ring with a top rope axe handle. Buff Bagwell sends Riggs out to the floor and into the rail again. A gutbuster by Bagwell. Huge Bagwell sucks chance, so he's incredibly over as a heel. A powerbomb by the Bags. The taunting with the loser. So this is again when it was like, loser. By the ghost announcer, starts piping in. The electric chair drop to Buff Bagwell after he is stuck in the camel clutch for a long old time. Riggs begins to fire up, but a double crossbody ends with Bagwell on top. It only gets 2 count. A powerbomb by Scotty Riggs, though, and it's another 2 count. Bags is able to get control, heads up to the second rope, and finishes with the blockbuster to win.
This match was terrible.
You thought so?
I hated this match.
I mean, I thought it was competent. It wasn't a great match,
I did not like it.
I happen to be a guy that likes Buff Bagwell. How do you feel about the old Buff the Stuff?
Nah, he's all right. Like, I've seen some stuff of his that's decent, but this match, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I'm not sure if it just was in a weird spot on the card, but I was just not into it.
Sad.
Yeah, not into it.
Well, I hope that Blockbuster there, Buff the Stuff, gets your attention later on in the review. You know, because I happen to like the old Buffer.
Listen, I like Jeff Jarrett. You don't like Jeff Jarrett. You like Buff. I don't like Buff.
That's fair.
This is why we work.
Yes.
This is
most importantly, Brutus Beefcake is the worst wrestler of all time.
He is a decent wrestler with a great name.
Match number 5. Let us discuss first DDP. Jeff Katz. What about Jeff Katz?
He had a segment before, in between Buff and the DDP match.
Are you sure? Because I have it after the DDP match.
You have it after the DDP match?
I have it after the DDP match.
I saw it before.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter.
I think you might be wrong.
Literally doesn't mean no one cares.
We're both watching the same show, right? You were watching 98 by chance, were you?
Okay. All right.
Well, DDP versus Norton. We talked about DDP turning on the nWo and all of that sweet, sweet jazz. The brick shithouse that is Scott Norton. Did you see this man? A fucking tank. His erect nipples on full display. His chest bursting out of that singlet. God damn. Baby. Sexy, sexy brick shithouse of a man. Good Lord.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
Very graphic.
Can you imagine how hard that chest is? Like if you bumped into that by accident, you'd break a nose. That's no lie.
Nope, not getting into that one.
No, it's like DDP is overpowered in the beginning. He takes a hit of the Ziggy. Then he gets pushed back again, and he ends up taking off his chain. Okay, so he's really getting into the match right now. Slowly but surely, the cool is starting to show a bit, and the stupidness is starting to fade. Spinning neckbreaker by Diamond Dallas Page, and then a huge pickup flatliner type maneuver by Diamond Dallas Page as well.
Yeah, like the weird face breaker thing.
Yeah, the face breaker where he's got him in the pile driver position.
Yeah. That was because if you're already there, just power drive him.
I don't know. He wants to be different. He wants to be different. He is clotheslined by Scott Norton, though, shortly thereafter, and Norton is in control here. Sting has showed up in the audience.
Of course, the NWO people.
Yeah, he's arrived in Cedar Rapids. Yeah. He's arrived.
Every NWO member is there.
Every NWO
All
member,
of them.
excluding Sting. Fuck. Outside, Diamond Dallas Page is getting his ass beat as he is tossed into the steel ring steps and into the post. He fights back with a top rope clothesline and gets a near fall, a DDT reversal from an attempted hip toss by Diamond Dallas Page. The DDP, they are offering him a shirt once again. Buff Bagwell comes out and he says, "It's your time to shine, big man."
Yep.
All right.
So Buff and a bunch of NWO members come out.
Yes.
And they're like, "Hey, whatever you said before, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We like you. We like your stuff.
Yeah.
Join NWO."
Yeah.
And DDP takes the offer.
He does.
He puts on the shirt.
He
shakes Scott Norton's hand.
Yeah.
But it was all a ruse.
Oh my, how could it be so?
Diamond cutter. And he runs out the ring. And
it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. I just don't get it. I don't get
it. Nick Patrick then looks at the camera and says, "Hey, Scott wins."
Yeah.
Scott wins.
Yeah, Scott ends up winning via count out, I guess.
Yeah, so NWO is what, like 4-1?
Something like that.
4-1.
Oh my God. Yeah, so Scott Norton wins, but it doesn't matter. Diamond Dallas Page is hugely over.
Yep.
Yeah. So here we go.
And again, it happens so like usually when you turn babyface, it takes a little minute for people. It's like they were ready for him to turn. They were just like,
I think they were.
Yeah, they love him.
Getting quite stale. I mean, you have to consider Diamond Dallas Page has been a bad guy since he walked into WCW. Yeah. We're talking in the early 90s is when he debuted. So a long old time to be a baddie and finally turning good. So
and people are loving it, man.
Look at that. Yes, so on to Miss NWO. Once again, let's cue it up. Let's play the clip.
The smoke here. Folks, we are almost through with the search for Miss NWO. Now let's find out if contestant number 7 has what it takes. Now, you might not know this, but Vince, the head of the security for the NWO, he's been known to dress up in, a cheap hairpiece, a powder blue suit, that sort of thing. I want to know, would you be willing to dress up with Vince? And if so, what would you wear?
I can't hear you.
What would you wear with Vince? Would you dress up, sexy lingerie, something like that?
Oh, sure, why not?
Okay, she's open to it, folks. Let's move on. How you doing? It's contestant number 8, isn't it? Oh, my. Now, you know that Scott Norton did not get the nickname Flash for any reason, Now, I want to know, would you help Scott with his flashing problem, or would you just add to that problem?
With his flash, I'd hope I add to that problem.
Oh, things getting a little risque. Eric Bischoff, I'm going to take a cold shower. Back to you.
All right, welcome back. We are live. We are making history.
I love that one of the questions was, what would you do to make Chono's stay in America a little more comfortable? And the answer is anything he wants so long as I have some chapstick.
Huh.
I don't know what the point of the chapstick would be.
Because I honestly didn't hear her answer.
Yeah.
I just heard her say anything he wants. I didn't know she said the chapstick part.
I got some chapstick, the old chappy.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Is that like slang for drugs?
I don't know. It could be that she's gonna do a fellatio. And she needs some chapstick for the fellatio.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. Tricky Nicky Patrick is back on out. For match number 6 as the Outsiders take on the Steiners. Scott and Scott are starting us off.
It was so hard to write notes for this match because of Scott and Scott.
Well, let me tell you this, okay? I have come to the conclusion that you and I could do better on commentary than this fucking duo.
I've been saying that.
Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase are dull as dishwater. They're so shit.
There's even moments where you forget that there's people on commentary, not because they stop talking, but just because the shit they're saying is just like it has nothing to do with nothing, and you just like tone them out almost.
It's literally, they say, I don't know how many times, it's good to be the nWo. We're on top of the world. We just do it right.
Listen, Eric Bischoff's whole cool owner thing, again, if it were someone else, it would work, but I feel like the way he presents that character almost feels like he watched a shit ton of movies and was like, yeah, I can do this, and he's just quoting shit from like his favorite movies. Like he doesn't seem like that type of person.
No.
Even when he's talking to the girls, it's like you probably saw like a couple movies where the bad guy was like a cool guy, and just took some lines from there, because all of it just seemed like very rehearsed, very robust, like it didn't come natural at all.
No, not at all. He is not getting off on the right foot.
No.
And Eric Bischoff becomes an extraordinary bad guy in the years that follow, especially in the WWE when he was GM. But yeah, for some reason, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think the cool gimmick of it is not working. It's kind of like the opposite of what DDP is doing, where Eric should probably be the weaselly, cowardly little shithead.
Especially, he has the size and everything. He could have done that role. Because, you know, I know he wanted to do the whole cool, because NWO was just cool as shit at the time. But
he can't do it.
It didn't fit him at all.
No.
At least when Vince was doing like the super tough guy thing, at least he was jacked. Shit.
Yeah.
So he kind of could play it off. But this was just, it was like that one nerdy kid that got into like, you know, bikers and stuff, and pretended like it just didn't work. It didn't work.
Like he makes all of the tough guys laugh.
Yeah.
So by association.
Like I feel like he heard someone say it's cool. It's so nice to be the NWO, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna run with that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use that.
It's good to be king, and it's good to be me.
Even the way he says it.
Like, fuck off, dude.
You caught his personality perfectly just then. Oh shit.
Scott Hall works the shoulder only to be taken down by Scott Steiner. Back up, Hall gets him into an abdominal stretch, but Scott is able to get out of it with a pump handle slam and then a belly-to-belly suplex. Rick then gets a DDT in on Kevin Nash as all four men get in. The Steiners stand tall. On the outside, the outsiders regroup. Rick is the legal man now, and he fights with Hall for a little bit. Catches Rick with a fallaway slam to Scott Hall, and then Scott tags in after delivering the choke slam. Big Sexy is in. Nash with the elbows and a big old clothesline. Scott Steiner gets in. Steiner manages to hit a belly-to-belly to Kevin Nash. Quite impressive. Nash goes blow for blow with Rick until he gets knocked down. Hall with a cheap shot allows Nash to get in a big boot. Hall with a big old clothesline on the outside. The outsiders work over Rick Steiner for a long old time. Until finally Scott gets the hot tag. Scott Steiner is a house of fire. Double underhook powerbomb to Scott Hall. A side suplex overhead to Kevin Nash. Holy shit. All four men are in the ring. Hall gets knocked into the referee, and Nick Patrick gets taken down. Hall manages to get back up, delivering the outsider's edge to Scott Steiner, but there is no referee. A bulldog off the top rope by Rick Steiner to Scott Hall. Randy Anderson, the only reason he was allowed into the building was for this spot here. Randy Anderson jumps the guardrail and counts the 3. We have new tag team champions. How did you feel about this ending, my good sir?
So, it's just it's the theme with the Outsiders. Great match. Terrible ending.
Gotcha.
This was a great match. Ending just made no sense. Ryan is an illegal referee. Only Nick Patrick can count. And so the fact that he counted to 3 and then they rang the bell.
They did.
And they gave the titles to I'm like, what the fuck? Who's in charge? The owner's right there. He could just be like, no, that's not.
Well,
so that was confusing.
He was saying, listen, the rules might stand for now, but I'm going straight to Turner. And we are going to hash this out. They are going to be delivered back to the Outsiders' doorstep within 48 hours. And oddly enough, that is exactly what happens. The ruling is overturned on Monday Nitro, along with the firing of Randy Anderson. Yes.
So this is just more storyline bullshit.
Absolutely. More storyline bullshit. Randy Anderson gets fired, and then I believe it's either the next week or the week following that, Randy Anderson brings his children and his wife to Monday Nitro to beg for his job.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes. While Eric Bischoff and the Outsiders are on commentary. And this is one of the best heel segments of all time. This is one of the ones where Eric Bischoff actually does a really good job.
Yeah.
Because the kids beg for his job. And they talk about how Randy is like a cancer survivor and all of this shit.
How old were his kids?
His kids are like little kids. They're 6, 7 years old. Like, these are tiny children on Nitro begging for their daddy's job. And Eric Bischoff looks down at them and he's just like, kids, could you tell your dad that he's still fired?
Oh, you gotta tell me what episode that is. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is a vicious segment, and it is so good for the smarmy heel Eric Bischoff.
Oh my God.
If only they could capitalize on that, but he gets very wishy-washy, as you said, about playing the cool and playing the weasel, but that chef's kiss angle, especially with these dickheads, the Outsiders beside him, God. Just cheering him on. Like, yeah,
because they're actually cool. So they
are. And then we have this train wreck in the middle just being a dick. Match number 7, and it is match of the night coming up next. Match number 7 is indeed a ladder match for the United States Championship. It is Eddie Guerrero, the champion, taking on Syxx and the kleptomaniac that has stolen the belt from underneath Eddie's nose.
Listen, I love this character for Syxx. Like, hey, you want a title match? I'm gonna steal the title and then force you to fight me for the title. It's gonna backfire on him next time, but this time.
So as Eddie Guerrero comes out, the voice over the intercom calls him the Mexican jumping bean, Eddie Guerrero. Being a Mexican yourself, John. How did you feel about your people being maliciously judged?
Well, it's wrestling in the 90s. It literally happened all the fucking time. Like WWE, WCW, like it just happened all the time. So it's just, it is what it is.
The nWo B team music has been playing all fucking night.
Because I think they even noticed that, like, hey, if we play the nWo team for 8 fucking matches, the people will probably get tired of it.
Honestly.
So I had to switch it up.
Good Lord. Yes. So we have stiff forearms and a kick to Eddie Guerrero. They botch the first tilt-a-whirl attempt, but they get the second one and the third one off. Crossbody from the top rope by Eddie. But then a spinning heel kick by Syxx ends with a Bronco Buster. A suplex to the outside by 6, a very hard landing. A senton over the top rope as well by 6. The ladder is used for the first time as 6 squashes Eddie Guerrero between the ladder and the ring apron.
Yeah, because the ladder was on top at the very beginning of the ramp.
Yes.
He grabs it and he charges Eddie.
He does.
And makes a little Eddie sandwich.
A little Eddie sandwich. A little Mexican jumping bean sandwich, if you will. If I may be so bold. Eddie fights back with a ladder shot, hard Irish whip reversal by 6 to Eddie into the ladder. Both men up on top of the ladder shortly thereafter. Eddie gets tossed off, and then 6 rides the ladder into Eddie. No, sir. Instead, Eddie Guerrero delivers a drop kick and sends 6 down crotch first onto the top rope. A superplex by Eddie Guerrero to follow it up. Both men set up the ladder and climb to, once again, a 6 with a drop kick off the ladder this time, which was very impressive. Back up again. Eddie falls off the ladder and ends up ricocheting off of the ropes and back into the ladder. Both men are down. It doesn't take too long, though, before the ladder is set back up once again. Eddie Guerrero climbs the ladder. 6 climbs the ladder. Both men are on top. They have grabbed hold of the U.S. title belt. They are playing a tug-of-war. Eddie uses it and smashes 6 over the face with it, but in the process, drops the belt.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero jumps down, grabs the belts. The match is over. Sloppy finish aside, though, this was a match that was a breath of fresh air.
This was a fantastic match.
Absolutely.
And to put it right before the main event was it would have been risky if this was any other pay-per-view, but the fact that this pay-per-view has been kind of you know,
God.
So the fact that they put this right before the main event really kind of woke the audience up. 6's spinning fucking sidekick from the top rope was absolutely batshit. Like they did some I've seen a lot of ladder matches. They had some of the best moments from the top of the ladder that I've seen.
Yes.
Ever. Like each man getting in some huge moves that I was genuinely scared for their safety for most times. Yeah.
Well, it was wonderful because as the match was progressing, commentary was talking about how Scott Hall probably taught 6 that move and taught him everything he knows. He invented the ladder match for God's sakes and all that fun stuff. But the 2 men. I mean, we did the Cliff Notes version of it. Obviously, you should go out of your way to watch that match, if anything.
Yeah, there's
on
no way
this
we can
show.
talk about this entire match. So much fucking amazing things happening.
Yeah, so much stuff going on. 6 was incredibly impressive in this match, but it was nice to see Eddie Guerrero getting the win, getting the U.S. title back. It's about time.
So far, my standout star for the feud for this whole period that we're watching, so far it's 6. Yeah, maybe it's gonna change in the next couple weeks, but we'll see. Far the progression that he's showing and like the amount of matches that great matches that he's putting on. Yeah. Listen, so far I have 6. I don't know if maybe later on it's going to change, but that's my pick for now, man.
We shall see. It is the finals of the Miss NWO competition. A secret question by Eric Bischoff now. We go through the list of the contestants.
So Jeff Katz at the beginning says that he's going to bring all the girls up. They're all standing in the line behind him. He's going to bring them up. The fans are going to cheer, and the fans are going to pick who wins.
Yes.
Every girl comes up. They have like a little side thing that says their name, their height.
And I have a few of them.
Their sizes.
Such quotes and hobbies as, "Shut up, you brats." Hobby is cooking bratwurst and french fries. Bowling and playing the lottery.
I saw that one.
Top quote, "Men in leather and flannel get my motor running." Just to name a few, but those were the top ones for me.
One funny part, like the second girl that she calls up, or I think the first girl, he brings her up. People start cheering at her, and then she just stands beside him.
Yep.
And he has to be like, all right, go to the back.
Get on back there now. Get on back there. Yes, so it ends up being the woman that works on motorcycles in her spare time. It is Miss Becky that wins this horrid segment to become Cedar Rapids Division Miss NWO.
Yeah, because Jeff then, he basically tells everyone, like, nah, it's actually Eric that's going to fucking pick.
Yeah.
Eric says that this is such the weirdest rule I've ever seen in a competition. He's going to tell them a secret question.
Yes.
They're going to respond to it secretly.
Yes.
And then he will pick based on what he's told.
Yes.
So he goes up to one girl, whispers something. She whispers something back. He walks off giggling like a child, like he just heard like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Then he goes to one girl, and I'm like, "This is what just happened?" Because listen, he goes to one of the girls, also whispers something.
Yeah.
She whispers something back, and he's like, "Okay."
This one is the one that's part of the seniors division. Miss Becky.
Miss Becky. Works on motorcycles, so not the greatest looking person.
Not at all.
So I'm like, wow, they're gonna give it to the young, hot blonde one.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope. Yeah. Miss
Becky over here
is gonna win.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, how about
Get
a kiss?
Over here. Get over here. And they lock lips not once, but twice. They put her in a black sash.
Yes.
Give her some dying bouquet of wreaths. She does a lap around the
ring. Make her walk around the ring.
And then sit on a toilet.
And I think this is a quote from Eric Bischoff. He says,
his mic also wasn't working, which is critical.
he says that the whole competition was to bring out the girls with the best hogs in Iowa. Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, Jesus.
The second I heard that, I'm like, yeah, this is the greatest pay-per-view.
What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Who put this down on paper and said, let's do this, please?
Let's find the girls with the best hogs.
Fuck! Oh my god! There's no way this was entertaining. There's no way. Oh my god. And then, main event time.
Yep. You've seen it twice before.
Yeah.
But tonight, we're going to get the final.
Do it again.
We're going to have a decision at the end of this.
So nice. They're doing it thrice.
Hogan versus the Giant.
Mm-hmm. For the world title, Hogan gets onto the screen. His audio plays halfway through, saying, I'm going to get you. It's NWO time. No choke slam for you, etc., etc. Hogan comes out with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Previous Super Bowl champs, so they're coming out with their rings. They're showing it. They're, hey, look at me.
Yep. They all get into a huddle in which Hulk Hogan says, I'm going to beat him. I'm going to knock him down. I'm going to kick him. And then I'm going to kick him some more.
Hollywood Hogan is the fucking greatest. Oh my god.
Hogan says that he's going to kill him. He's going to beat him to death, so get him back. Both men get into the ring. The match has begun. Hogan with some chops. Hogan with the eye rake, a kick to the gut. All of this does nothing. Hogan then ends up getting chopped and runs out of the ring.
Because Big Show's like telling him, like, hey,
the Giant!
I even have it written down here as the Giant.
And
I still fucked it up.
W. Sir.
The Giant
yes.
tells Hogan, come, bring it on. Mm-hmm. And Hogan's landing everything he can.
No.
Doesn't budge him.
Nope.
And then fucking the Giant hits him with some of the hardest chops.
Absolutely.
I'm like, does he know that this is Hogan? Like, is he allowed to chop him this fucking hard?
Very stiff. Very stiff.
Holy shit.
Both men get back into the ring. It is a double clothesline, a double down, and we're only 3 minutes in, and these two men are sucking wind. The Giant ends up manhandling Hogan, just pushing him around, showing his dominance. Outside, the men brawl a bit. Hogan tries for an inside cradle and wants to get back into the ring.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I legit laughed out loud when he did that.
Hogan is trying desperately to get this inside cradle. Yeah. The Giant is not having it.
He's just like, what are you doing?
No. The Giant then picks him up, gives him a big old body slam, and then drops an elbow on him. Hogan gets out of the ring, goes to the Harley, gets out a thing of powder, and throws that into the eyes of the Giant, takes off some of his wrist tape, starts choking him with the tape. Both men back into the ring, the Giant with a back breaker onto Hollywood Hogan. The Giant then goes up to the top rope, and he goes for a gigantic top rope elbow drop. Never seen anything like it, but he misses.
And it's so fun because I'm so glad he missed. And Hogan still, like, the force made everyone still jump up. I'm like, if he would have landed that, it would have been a wrap for Hogan.
Yes. A big boot by Hogan, but there is a no sell. Hogan then delivers a body slam to to the Giant, and then the big old leg drop of doom, but the Giant just stands right up.
But Hogan doesn't notice because he's showboating.
That's right.
He's working the crowd.
For an outrageously long time.
Yeah.
He goes to all four sides, then turns around, looks down at the floor, sees he's not there, goes, but what? Then turns around into the choke slam. He gets a choke slam, but Nick Patrick just will not count the three.
Yep. He counts 1, 2.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nope, his shoulders up.
The shoulders up.
So the Giant then
presses the shoulders down. 1, 2.
Nope.
No, he's still got the shoulder
legs. The legs moved.
Yeah.
He then grabs him.
Hooks the leg.
Yeah. 1, 2. Remember the injury Nick Patrick got. You can't do it.
So the Giant is fucking fed up with this bullshit of a pay-per-view. He chokeslams Nick Patrick. The nWo comes down. The nWo is beating down the Giant. They're doing anything that they can, but they can't stop him. Eric Bischoff runs down to ringside with an nWo-laden guitar. And Hogan gets into the ring and lays out the Giant with the guitar.
Yeah, fucking... As nWo is coming out, Eric Bischoff's like, hey, I gotta go help my guy.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought is, you're gonna leave Ted alone on commentary? Yeah. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, let's see what Ted has to say on commentary by himself. He did not talk. The last 10 minutes of the pay-per-view, no commentary.
Nothing at all. He stays completely silent. I honestly think he took off the headset.
He probably did.
I think he left.
Because I'm pretty sure someone would have been screaming, hey, say something.
Nothing.
Because, and Eric Bischoff's, sneaking around, trying to get to Hogan. And at this point, you would be telling the audience what's happened. It's dead silent. From the moment Eric Bischoff gets off the headset to the end of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So a good 10 minutes of just silence.
Nothing. Hogan hits Giant with the guitar. They spray paint the Giant. The nWo stands tall as we fade to black and go off the air.
So 3 weeks in a row, 3 pay-per-view to 3 main events.
Yeah.
Hogan versus a Giant for the title. All 3 end in DQ.
Yeah. DQ and no contest. And you'll be happy to know, Just John, they had a match the next night on Nitro.
Did that one finish?
I don't think it did.
What were they getting from this? What did they benefit? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so there you are. They've shit the bed all 3 times, and this time they had the pleasure to do it for $60 a pop.
That was nWo Souled Out, baby.
That was nWo Souled Out. Yeah, we're going to get into Match of the Night, Standout Star, and the overall show grade. But I also wanted to ask, why, in your opinion, after watching this show, why do you think this show was a failure? Yeah, so I'm going to ask first. Why do you think this show failed?
Again, it's going up against the Royal Rumble, even though they switched dates.
Yes,
it's still a pay-per-view, so it's still $60, and there's people that can afford double pay-per-views. There's people that probably were like, you know what, fuck WWE at the time.
Yes.
It's WCW for life, baby. A lot of NWO members, but there's still a lot of people that were like, hey, you kids get $60. What do you guys want to see? And, you have the pay-per-view that's been running for years now, Royal Rumble, or the very first thing of a heel faction. So if you're not a fan of NWO, maybe it just doesn't interest you, type of thing. And if you just watch wrestling, you kind of know, hey, it's an NWO pay-per-view. They're probably not going to lose.
Yes.
So, I think for me, that's what I think was going through the minds of the people at that time. And I think that's why probably it didn't do that great. Yeah. Yeah, because as you said, the rest of the year was fine. It was just this one pay-per-view, right?
Yes. Yeah, this was literally the only lame duck show of 1997.
Yeah.
And
then you get the buildup of the 2 giant matches. So it's like, what the fuck? What's the point?
Yeah. Eric Bischoff tried to explain this away. He did say, and he did admit, that this was a failure on every level. And he admits to that, and he says, this was, of course, a critically panned show. There's not anybody that likes this show. But he tried to explain that the main reason that this was probably a failure at the box office, at least, was because it was a brand new pay-per-view concept.
Yeah.
And he said with all of these, even in WWE, when they bring out a brand new pay-per-view, the first version or the first iteration of the pay-per-view doesn't normally go so well. So that's what he was saying. But I think because he was battling with Dave Meltzer, and Dave Meltzer quoted that he said, basically, the NWO was hot, but I don't think it was as hot as everybody in WCW thought that it was. Whether that's true or not, is still up for debate.
Yeah, no, because the NWO was hot. You can build an entire pay-per-view around them.
Yes.
But building an NWO specific pay-per-view, it just didn't make, it doesn't matter how much people love them. It doesn't make sense because they're the heels. So they're going to make everything like, remember when we watched The Rock's pay-per-view?
Rock Bottom, yes.
He was the corporation, so of course the corporation won everything. Yeah. So you see that, and now you see the NWO. It's like what's about to happen. So it's like it didn't make sense for them to build a pay-per-view around the heel faction that's known for cheating. Yes. So it's like we know what's about to happen here, type of thing. But I will die on the hill of that. On paper, this concept seems intriguing. The stage was super cool. The stairs.
The whole set looked beautiful.
Like, the 3 monitors at the top.
Yeah.
You know, even the whole idea of like having only NWO members have music. I wish they did the live band because that would have been
better.
Fucking epic. A couple more pyros would have been better.
Maybe a variation of some songs.
Yeah. Leave everyone with their own theme song or something. Yeah. You know, it would have been better if they all came in limos and not on
instead of garbage trucks. You think?
Yeah.
Because it's a bad omen. Yeah. It's kind of a sign of things to come that you're arriving on garbage.
And if you had like an edgy character, like a Stone Cold or something like that, where it's like I'm a gritty tough guy, but all your guys are like the cool, like, hey, you know, we live in style type of guys. So it's like, why are they coming in?
Well, what I don't understand is that they have all of these Harley Davidsons and they're super, super into motorbikes. Why not come in on motorbikes? Why would you do garbage?
And then I also like his idea of going against the norm with the women.
I still would have chose actresses. I just wouldn't have chose
maybe not supermodels
actresses.
Exactly, but still someone that can, you know,
put on a show.
Yeah. Like this was fucking at least put a talent show or something. Like these questions
anything.
Because like at first, like the first time it's like, okay, cool, like there's sexual questions and like, ooh, like but then after like the third time it's like, how many more fucking questions do you have? How are you this horny? Stop.
And none of the answers are at all titillating. None of them.
Well, what'd you say?
Yeah, what? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Fucking
my feet. So long as we have chapstick.
Again, great idea, not the best execution.
Obviously. Yeah. Match of the night, standout star, and the overall show grade. What
Match of the night, Eddie versus Six. That goes without saying.
Yes. Standouts, it is a one-match show.
Yeah. If anything, maybe watch the first match, but it's literally just this match. Yeah. And if you like dramatics, maybe the main event. Maybe. Maybe
that match shit the bed for me.
Yeah. So 6 Eddie match of the night. Standout stars Hogan.
Oh, you're giving it to Hogan.
I fucking love Hogan in this.
I am very surprised.
Such a dickhead. The inside cradle. Him pretending to feel like he the leg drop and pretending that he won and all that great shit. Great heel work. Loved Hogan. Overall show grade 2 because it's just two matches that are worth watching.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah.
Go for it, bud. Let's hear it.
So match of the night for me.
Well, first off, what's your overall thoughts on the show? Let us know.
This show was the drizzling shits. I think the reason that it failed, yes, I do actually agree to Eric Bischoff's point that it's a brand new concept. If you look at things like Taboo Tuesday, that was a show on a Tuesday, and that did horrific numbers. Cyber Sunday didn't do too much better. The In Your House pay-per-views as well, even during this time period. The Inception in 95, 96, they weren't doing terribly great numbers. So I will agree with him on this point that a brand new concept of a pay-per-view does, impact your score for sure. But I do also agree with your point that having an NWO-centric pay-per-view is kind of dead on arrival because, as you say, it's all heels. They have a very small roster when you compare. Because you have to have WCW guys, and you know that your WCW favorites are gonna get shit on. And even if they do come out on top, they still don't really come out on top. Like the Steiners, they immediately were getting shit on. They had their roles reversed. Eddie Guerrero is the only one that kind of got off scot-free because DDP had to run away from the NWO. Yeah. The Giant gets humiliated. Jericho, et cetera, et cetera.
Help.
Yeah. So, and the actual show itself was fucking terrible. Like, it was boring. It was plotting. It was a one-match show.
There was a moment where they panned to the WCW guys in the crowd, and I'm like, I would much rather see half of these guys in here right now.
Like, the Faces of Fear, Harlem Heat. Like, the thing is the WCW fans want to watch a WCW show.
Yeah.
The casual audience, yes, the casual viewers are NWO fans because they're cool, but they're not going to be the ones that are shilling out $60.
Exactly.
They're not going to shill out for a pay-per-view completely devoted to the NWO. So I think you definitely missed the buck here.
Yeah.
And it just was not a wise move. Match of the night is, of course, Syxx and Eddie Guerrero, but you chose that, so I am going to go with my secondary pick, which is the Outsiders versus the Steiners.
Okay.
Ending aside, I was okay with the ending because it's like, wacky shenanigans, and it popped the crowd.
Yeah.
The crowd was super happy to see the Outsiders lose, which is odd on an NWO pay-per-view, but that,
That's why the idea doesn't work.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. So, the standout star for me, I'm going to give it to the Outsiders. I do think that they made the Steiner brothers look very good. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was a good match. I enjoyed the match. I was liking what the Outsiders are doing. I was watching a couple of bits of the Nitros and the highlights there. And this match in particular, I was cool with it.
Again, it was a great match, just a shitty ending.
Yeah. And my star grade for this one is a 1.5. It was gonna be a flat out 1, but the Outsiders and Steiners, and then the ladder match, that's gonna give it a half.
But if we're reviewing this by overall, like, how much you're gonna laugh, then this is a 4 out of 5.
Oh, this is a fantastic show to shit on.
If you just want to have a good old-fashioned laugh, you just pop this boy right in.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, we are... What a shitty show. Mm-hmm. If you want some giggles, get drunk with your buds, put this on, you're going to have a hoot and a holler. But we
take a shot every time Eric Bischoff says, isn't it great to be...
Yeah. Isn't it great to be king? And it's great to be me.
You guys are gonna black out.
But starting next week, we are back on the gravy train. We are back on the Hogan Roddy Piper saga. It is a rematch Super Brawl, this time with the world title on the line. We are back where we belong, in the comfort zone of WCW. We're going to have Bobby. We're going to have Dusty. We're going to have Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone.
Thank God.
Yeah, we're going to have everybody that we need. We're going to have cruiserweights again.
More than one referee.
More than one ref.
No weird.
Even though they fired one.
No more weird camera on a stick.
No. We're going to get back to quality. Oh, my God. But until then, thank you so much for joining us on this little side stop here with nWo Souled Out. As always, you can reach us on the socials. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just, John, where can they find us?
Twitter, @TheColossalTussle1. And then YouTube, Spotify, anywhere where you can listen to music or listen to podcasts, you can find us. Just type The Colossal Tussle. You can watch this episode and go back and watch all the other shit we did.
They're all great. Absolutely, yes. And in regards to the podcast platforms, make sure that you are subscribing or hitting the notification bell or button or whatever the hell it is. Yes, make sure that you do that so that you never miss an episode, because we might not be uploading every single Saturday anymore. So, life is getting in the way.
Oh my God.
Viruses are taking us down. So anything could happen.
If anything, just follow the Twitter at the Colossal Tussle One. Yes. We'll let you know if there's any interruptions with episodes.
Yes, and notifications aplenty. That's going to be a big, big saver for you guys.
Disagree with us.
Yes. Yes, not to mention, I found a bunch of little ditties online that are deep, deep in 1997 WCW. I've got magazine covers, I've got posters, I've got all sorts of little trinkets that I am going to be putting onto the Twitter as we build towards not just Souled Out, the episode that you're listening to right now, but Starrcade and beyond. So have a look out for that, my friends. Yes, but until next time,
we are out!